So that Derby profile I did yesterday was a complete waste of my time because Slowdown Andy came down with a fever and is now out of the Kentucky Derby. In the meantime, though, another horse moved up the ranks of the Kentucky Derby from 20th all the way to 11th in just one fell swoop. Another day, another Derby profile. Today's episode is going to be on Tawny Port. Let's go. So, for starters, we gotta go over the stats of Tawny Port. He is slightly more experienced than most horses in this field. He's ran 5 times to 3 career victories and 1 second, and earnings of $427,000. Which, if you've been keeping track, is slightly less than some of the other horses we've seen with similar starts, and that's mainly because of the major races he's had. He was 5th in the Risen Star Stakes, and 2nd in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, and most recently won the Stone Street Lexington Stakes. His other 2 career victories were in Maiden and Allowance Company, which aren't very fruitful when it comes to money. For how he runs these races, Tawny Port is slightly different than the usual stalker, which is something that he can certainly do, but he has come from further back to win races. His most recent start at the Lexington Stakes, he came from near dead last to win. Or if you see right here, in his allowance victory back at the start of the year, he came from quite a bit back to swoop up and take the lead. Which was kind of a running theme, as he also did this in the Lexington Stakes. So while he can stalk, he certainly has a knack for coming from way back to win. For highest speed figure, it's technically a 102, which he got in the Jeff Ruby Stakes, but that was on a synthetic surface. His highest speed figure on the dirt was in his most recent career start, and that was in the Lexington, and it was a 99, which isn't shabby, but it could rouse some concern that his best performance was not on a dirt surface. But that's more of a concern to the winner of that race, Tiz the Bomb, which I'll cover in another episode. For now, Tawny Port honestly looks better on paper than Tiz the Bomb, and I'll tell you why with these strengths and weaknesses. In my opinion, all of his biggest strengths came from yesterday's race in the Lexington. Before this, he was an all-weather horse who happened to get second in a Grade 3. But after winning the Lexington, he proved that he could run on dirt. And he was able to defeat multiple graded stakes winners that were all fighting to try and get into that top 20. He was able to navigate through big fields of horses for strong placings. The Jeff Ruby Stakes had 13 horses in it, and he was able to navigate his way through to get a game second. And in the Lexington, he took himself way further back, and was still able to navigate through the field and win against a field of 11. Which means he's proven to be able to combat the main weakness of a closer, which is having to navigate through horses. But then we have to go to the weaknesses. The Risen Star Stakes in general is the host of most of his weaknesses. A 5th place finish in that race to 3 of some of the strongest Kentucky Derby horses isn't exactly a good look, although you can argue that he had to do a lot of navigation in that race, having to go from the inside all the way to the outside before making his close. But it's still not a good look being beaten by multiple way better looking horses. As well as that, the Jeff Ruby Stakes is considered a very weak Kentucky Derby prep, usually not harboring many successful horses. The only exceptions to this rule are Graham Motion's Animal Kingdom and Went the Day Well, and Tawny Port is trained by Brad Cox, so we're not going to get any Graham Motion voodoo from this horse. As well as that, he will be the least well-rested of the Kentucky Derby horses, with the Lexington Stakes coming only 3 weeks before the Kentucky Derby, so he'll be less rested than the rest of his peers. Not great. And lastly, the final fraction of that Lexington Stakes was incredibly slow. It was 26.14 seconds, which puts into question just how good his turn of foot really is if he just plodded across that stretch. Will he be able to pass anybody? We'll find out on Derby Day. For now, I'd say Tawny Port initially came off as a very easy toss. However, thanks to his most recent performance, he's gained a lot of respect and proven a lot of things wrong about him. And for that, I will give him a B- grade. He still has a lot to do, but certainly less than before the Lexington. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this Derby profile. Comment down other horses I should do, and see you guys next time.